Well, we're trying to get to painting a lot of stuff we need painting, but I need to get back there, and of course I can't get back there because I have no space, because everything's in the garage and there's nowhere to go. And I need to get my air conditioner fixed, and of course you can't get to it, and so frustrating, so frustrating. Wish I had a facility. So we got the chairs all painted. Got my arms here painted with epoxy. The two in the back, I'm leaving epoxy, calling it sealed and quit. This, I'm going to put some build primer on the legs and some color, or I'm just going to put color and seal it up, which my orange is supposed to go over white, and so I could use this as a seal coat if I wanted to. Like, not only can I paint on this, but I could actually do a reduced version of this as a seal coat, because you're supposed to paint the orange over white to get that brilliance. So what I'm thinking is the epoxy has a time limit, and in this heat I'm assuming that time limit is shrunk down to about 3 days. So I'm going to see what this looks like and then probably put some build primer on it. And if I put build primer on it, then at least I have no window of time. I've opened it up to, I could do it 2 months from now and paint orange. So, however, I do want to get this finished because it's the biggest piece in the garage, and I want it out of the garage as soon as possible. So that's why I'm happy about these being finished, because I'll let them dry for about 3-4 days and then boom, out of here. So that went well. Over here, we got some parts, and they're looking okay. I kind of got 1.5 coats on these, and I am having a little bit of fisheye here and there, which out of all the pieces, I don't want that. It would be that one. That's the one I don't want. And you know, there's a little bit there, a little bit there, so not happy about that. So we will see what we do with that, but that again could go to build primer. These, that doesn't, these, not sure. It's kind of the same thing as the legs. I was thinking of doing black on these, and I was like, why would I not match the bench seat and paint them orange? So I'm kind of moving forward, but philosophy wise I haven't moved forward. The other good thing is I've finally figured out how to use the cup system well enough to actually reuse a cup for the same product, so that's good. That was not available before. I was having so many issues. So I had the guy who welded my tank put in new rivets for this part here that holds the windows in, and I need to kind of flay these out because they're kind of sticking up because they're a little bit too big. So I got 2 of them, I think, that I need to do that to. And then these frames are pretty much ready to go. I think I got a little bending to do on one and a screw stuck in one. So that will be ready to go. I also got a punch, little skinny punch, to pop the levers off my vent windows. So we're going to see if that works. And then we did get this stripped down to probably as good as it's going to get. So now it's get all the dents out of it, make it look as nice as possible. And I'm assuming, again, philosophy here, but I could paint this and make it look really nice, or we could put some foam over it and make it look super nice in leather and still make it orange leather or something like that, so it like really pops. I want the design to show through because that's like the iconic look. So I haven't made that decision, but what I will say is now that I've kind of gotten through all the stuff, and you know, I won't be able to walk here as soon as I bring all this in, but we're getting close. It frees my mind up to kind of make decisions for the near future, so that's a good thing. And in the meantime, we have a car that's full of dust from all the 80-mile-per-hour windstorms blowing the doors back and forth. Then we got this. What are we going to do with this? I don't know. But we're not worried about that right now. I'm a little disappointed it's in my garage at this moment due to 80-mile-per-hour winds and tornadoes, which don't exist in Arizona but did the other day. So yeah, we're just kind of piecing it together. My AC guy's coming out to fix my louvers. I got a feeling it's a 2-trip thing where he has to stop, figure out the parts, and then come back. So we will see. But yeah, things are going good. As you can see, these are in build primer ready to go. That is not. Need to repaint it. Need to sand and paint white and then go to build. That's in build. So things are getting close. And once I get the frames all done really nice, we're going to paint all that black. Paint the teardrops, the frames, and a few other things are going to be black too. So these are going to be orange. So yeah, lots coming along. That's the update. Alright, so executive decision last night was to not go crazy with the build primer and everything because, you know, this is somewhat going to be seen, somewhat not going to be seen. And if I was going to make it super, super pretty, then I would have knocked off some welding splatter from the 60s and things like that, and I didn't. So I'm like, well, there's no reason to go that far. So what I decided to do is use the epoxy primer as a sealer coat and dilute it. And that also got my second coat on for any areas that were missing anything. Make sure it was pure white. And I had some left over, so I did there. And so did the same thing over here. And got some coats on. So these last two I'm going to do build primer on. This one I'm going to do black. And the rest of these I'm going to do orange. And so I have to wait about 2 hours. Probably a little bit less than that, but I'll wait the 2 hours. That's fine because it's way hotter than normal. And throw some color and throw some clear. And then these last two I'll do the build. And man, we're going to call it a day on this stuff. So I've been working on getting my guns prepared, and I've been having a few issues with my compressor. I had to get a new hose because this thing was getting wrapped around. I didn't know it, and when it wrapped around, it kind of made the hose leak. So I got a new hose, locked it in there so it doesn't move. Popped a fitting on here because trying to twist this hose 6 times one way and then getting it the other way, that ruins the hose too. So I popped this on here. I don't know how I did it before, but I did. So got that going. But I'm under the impression that my bleeder is not working because I'm getting a lot of water coming through. And and I haven't heard it go off in a while, and usually it starts right at the beginning. I don't know, you know, I love this thing, the California Air, but this thing has been somewhat of a nightmare. I think that's my third unit. They just seem to go out really quick. So I've been, every once in a while when I pop the gun off, I notice like moisture come flying out when I do that, and that's not good. So I got an extra moisture dryer here, which I couldn't find. I'm like, where was it? I know I got a good one. Well, it was on my media blaster. So got that there. Clean this gun up. This gun's ready to go for build primer. This gun is ready to go for color. We are using, so House of Color has kind of a mixing situation that goes on the way they do their stuff. For the most part, I'll say, I'm not an expert at this, but we'll say 90% of their product is you use a base and then you use a carrier and you add them together. So in other words, you get orange and then you get whatever your pearl of choice is and you pop it together. So in this case, what happens is you order a can and it comes 3/4 full, and then you take your pearl, which is the last quarter, and you just pour it in there, and now this becomes your 2-to-1 ratio, 2 of this, 1 of reducer. So they make it really easy, so you don't have to be doing all sorts of calculation stuff. You just pour it in there. Now you can sit there and say, well, you're only getting 3/4 of a quart. Well, it's made that way to put your effects together, because if you're not using effects, why buy House of Colors? Doesn't make sense. So now I think I might have explained earlier with my black, they accidentally ordered the wrong one, and it wasn't a what I'll call translucent black 3/4 filled. It was fully filled, but I was able to put and mix the effects in there anyways, and I just have more black than I needed. So no problem with that. So the other thing I'm going to experiment with is just this one little part needs black, and it's underneath the vehicle. And so what I'm going to try to do is use just my VHT as the black, and then put my clear coat over it, and we'll just see how that goes. And if it, if it doesn't go well, well, it's a little tiny part. What do I care? Sandblast it off, start over. But for little things that I won't say I don't care about, but like it's not a big deal. This stuff is amazing, by the way. Like for instance, I got tracks for underneath the seat, and there's grease and there's different things. Like, I'm not going to take that all apart. What I'm going to do is clean it up really well, probably give it a once over with this epoxy paint, and call it a day. Like, I don't have to clear it. I don't have to do this. I don't have to worry about it not working. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to whip through. So that I did. However, the leg that comes off the chair that goes to the wheel well to mount the chair is this unit. And so this unit I'm going to actually do in orange along with the other legs. So this is the long leg, which is by the doghouse. This is the leg that is on the wheel well, so it doesn't need as much length. So so I just noticed on the driver's side, this is built in, and it's black. That's why I was going to do black, but we'll see. I just stumped myself. I'm not too worried about it. We'll figure it out. We'll see what it looks like. So to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, one side bolts to the wheel well, the other side goes all the way down. So we're getting closer. I'm doing a 3-day weekend to kind of bust all this stuff out just because of all the chemical windows, all the layers, all the different things that go on. And I'll do that little black piece because it's spray can, but I'm kind of saving up all the other black that's going to be pearlized and putting build primer on it so it's ready to go. Now I just noticed I could be painting that orange, but I'm not in the mood to do that today. One more thing, I don't need to get into sanding right now. I just need to get into finishing stuff. So that's about it.